that your brain, the human brain, loves replaying old stuff like music. You hear old music that you've heard before, yeah, you get a big shot of dopamine.
I'll stand at the end of the leg there, Coey. Only if you bright lights and in the shadows of the garbage trundle and riding carpet on the floor. I saw movement.
Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. A brand new day in which, yesterday, when I took my shower, and I trimmed my beard, and I cut my hair, boy, I forgot to change out one of my guides. I keep my hair trimmed to about 2 or 3 millimeters, this to about 5, this side to about 6 or 9, and then it's supposed to be about 3/4 of an inch on top. I forgot to change the guide. My hair is now a whole lot shorter than I planned on it being. I remember my grandfather's hair was about this thin all the time, so thumbs up for that. Anyway, though, that'll help with summertime. And I slept and I didn't have any cramping because I had my fans going properly and blowing air over the top of me, and I was cold and I was able to sleep because of that. So yay, very, very cool. And of course, front loading of YouTube videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that would be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that too would be very, very cool. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome. The cost of living is far outpacing the cost of my disability. And yes, I am broken. I cannot work. I require Social Security disability. And these people are helping me survive. If you'd like to help me survive, I do have links to my Patreon in the video description. And if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there's a PayPal link. And if you'd like to help me out without sending any money at all, there's an Amazon wish list link with cat food on it. So thumbs up for that. And hey, front loading of videos over. Yay, YouTube. So yeah, I slept last night. The day before, I had sort of slept, not wonderfully, not awesomely, but at least I did. So that part's good. Bad part is I can't remember a whole lot of what I did yesterday. And I've mentioned before that, well, because of my new ADHD med, my remembering, concentration, and thinking abilities are better, but they're not as good as they were while I was on Ritalin. I'm having to fight and struggle to do all this stuff, but at least I can. But that does make it a little bit more difficult. I can remember, because I wrote down on my list, some of the things that I was thinking about yesterday. But some of the stuff that I was thinking about yesterday is just gone because I can't remember it fully. It wasn't set fully in place as a memory. But, again, that's better than nothing. Oh, excuse me. My tummy tum-tum. Yeah. But I showered, and that was good. And that takes 2 hours. And then after my hair dried, it didn't take long at all for that to happen. I then went out for a moderately short walkies. I usually do like 5 or 6 miles on walks. This was maybe 3 because I'd already done my shower. That's a workout and a half. So thumbs up for that. And I'm cleaned, which I do my best to stay clean between showers. What is the word? Sponge bath? Yeah, sponge bathe. With washcloths. I hit my trouble spots on the daily, make sure I'm not going to offend. But it's just, you gotta do what you can. Thumbs up for that. And so I went out for walkies, came back, and then watched videos. I've played games. I've still been doing my new game plus on Strafe. I can't remember if it's the same one or if I started again. I mean, I've been able to blast through the entirety of the game from beginning to end in about less than a half hour with the full strength character now. When you first start the run and you hit the end level boss thing, which again is you blast some armor off a thing and then periodically it turns red, at which point you can shoot it, and if your weapons are fast and hard enough you can shoot it and blow out all 3 parts in time. If not, it goes back into shielded mode. You have to fight off waves of enemies, wait for it shields to come down, and then start blasting the other things. When I get in there now, it's just boom, 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 shoot off the armor, wait, and as soon as the red stuff comes up saying you can shoot it, just bam, 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 and in about 4 seconds it's all done. And then zoom through and start up another new game plus. So, yeah, playing stuff, they have already found that your brain, the human brain, loves replaying old stuff like music. You hear old music that you've heard before, yeah, you get a big shot of dopamine because you remember it, and it's hopefully a good song, which gives you, you know, another shot of dopamine there. But just being able to remember it and focus on that stuff, it goes boing, and you get a shot of pleasance. Same thing when you play the old stuff that you do. All those spots that you remember that is fun, nice shots of dopamine. So yeah, especially in hard times, people end up playing a lot of things that they've done before. So yeah. Still though, I mean, life is life. I'm also trying to play other things as well. I can't remember what I started up, but there's all sorts of things that I do want to start up. And hokey smokes, I've got my Ghosts of Tsushima I have to replay. I was, before my ADHD med from Ritalin, I had to quit before. I had also been playing Red Dead Redemption 1 on my Xbox, so I've got 2 big old games that I want to do. I'd like to do Bloodborne again, but good golly, I get to the one big boss, Rom the Vacuous Spider, and I can never get past that one. I can do all the other bosses, not easily, but I can do all the other bosses until I get to Rom. Very annoying. A lot of the stuff that I was thinking on when I was on my short walkies last night was a lot of repetition and trying to remember things that I'd done before and recontextualizing of things that I had thought about before. With my memory, I have to do my best to try and just remember stuff since I often don't have the energy to write it down. 99% of all the Razor's Edge stuff is still right up inside here and on video, nowhere else. Because I just don't have the energy to type it out, and so I need to go through and reinforce a lot of the thoughts in my head to make sure they stay. And so a lot of what I was doing last night while I was walking and during the daytime was just reinforcement of things like that. Like part of which I was reinforcing on the beginning of, at some point in the future, on the whole Razor's Edge story, I have said there's the character of Old Ray, and he's just a guy who's, at the point of the story, the current time, the 1 year on the Razor's Edge, he's about 700 years old. His extra universal chromosomes have expressed in such a way that unless he is killed, he will not die. He looks like he's late 40s, and he's gonna stay that way until he kicks off. And that's only if something kills him. But at 800 years, 1 year, 100 years past the current time of the story, that's when it's too much. He's 800 years on the Razor's Edge, too much. He's seen just too much. And he and the Speleodoncus, the thing that he helped create and became a powerful being, they just head out onto the inside to try and get away. Because he's full, he's done, he's over. Now, the thing that does it, and this is something that I don't know, I can't bring it into the story currently, but I like to see what's going to happen because it's not just a one chunk thing, it's a whole living, breathing thing that's always being recontextualized with the things that happen. 100 years approximately after the current Night of Terror that I'm basing the whole project around right now, when the Kaiju rampages and eats 12,000 people, 100 years from that time pass when Old Ray decides to leave. Because by that time, 100 years, Apple Rock has grown from the 15,000 people it's left with at the end of the story to about 225,000 people. Pretty big place by this time. And there's another good 50, 75,000 people that aren't a part of the city but live in smaller outside villages that are support things, helping to grow food, being extra factories to help support the people, doing such like that. Support group out there. Places that are going to be incorporated into Apple Rock as it continues to grow and become a powerhouse of industry, because they do have near infinite riches. And I'll come back to that point if I have time on this one. But in 100 years, something really bad happens, because the Kaiju, at the point of the story here, has normally just eaten about 6,000 people maximum at a shot, and it rampages every 5 years. Sometimes it only eats less than 1,000 people, sometimes it eats 6,000, 7,000 people, but it averages right around 2,000 people. And every 5 years, Razor's Edge, you make that up in a heartbeat, both through just new people showing up and birth rates. And so every time there's a rampage, there's a short period of shock, the whole community pulls together, and then things get moving even better, faster, and harder than they had been before. Old Ray has seen Apple Rock be depopulated in the past many times. About every 100 years the place had been depopulated, but every single time it had been depopulated before, it had never really been any larger than 5,000 to 6,000 people. And every 5 years there'd be a minor rampage, and then every 100 years the Kaiju would just eat all 5,000 to 6,000 people in the area. There has never been any historical record of the Kaiju eating as many people as it does on the Night of Terror, 12,000 people. But in the future, 100 years, there are close to 300,000 people in the area. And of course, that's when the Apple Rock Kaiju, with all of the things that it is able to do, manages to once again isolate the entirety of Apple Rock for about 52 hours. And when people are able to come back to Apple Rock and find out what's gone on during that time, there's nobody left. Just wreckage and fires, and that's it. Not a single human being is left of the 300,000 people that live there. And over the valley of Apple Rock, overlooking the wreckage and the ruin, there's this gigantic rock that looks like a great big old apple. And even though it looks just like a rock, it is the sleeping Kaiju, and you can almost hear it purring. It's so happy that it managed to pull this off. You can almost feel the self-satisfaction radiating off of this thing as it's busy working 300,000 human beings through its gut. Yeah, it eats everybody. And that's when old Ray just says, I've seen enough. I'm done. I'm done. And he and the Speely Donkas leave, just head on to the inside. Ugh. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, I sort of mentioned this and I can't even remember when or how. The idea being on the razor's edge when you live there is you can't stop these things. You can't stop anything like this. There is too much creation. I've mentioned that out here, in 1 square kilometer of land, there's only 1 square kilometer of stuff. On the inside, in every square kilometer of area, there is effectively 1,000 square miles wadded down and wedged into that. On the razor's edge, for every square meter, there's like 10,000 square kilometers wadded up and wedged inside of there. There's just too much. It is huge. And I'm checking my list to keep my memory working. Because people live right on the bleeding edge of an unending, untamable frontier, people are used to the idea that you get eaten a lot. And life is not looked at as a challenge to overcome. It is an inevitability to accept. And accepting inevitabilities, I think, are so much more interesting than trying to overcome challenges. Because overcome challenges is you win or you fail. And if you fail, it's over. And if you win, the story's over as well. Accepting inevitabilities is you have a fight. You may lose a limb. And then the story is about what happens afterward when you're trying to now go on with just one arm. And all the stuff that's happened because of the fight. It's accepting inevitabilities. It is not overcoming challenges. And that is why, even when, after the Kaiju rampages through, eats 12,000 people, 3,000 others just either dead or missing, 15,000 dead out of the 25,000 that used to live in the town of Apple Rock. Even when the engineers and builders from the Crimson Kingdom come in to help rebuild and redesign, the idea is you're not gonna stop it. You can't stop it. It's harm reduction. Try and make the city so that when it does rampage, things don't get broken down as much. Try to make it so that when it's eating people, it doesn't eat as many. Harm reduction, not zero reduction, because you can waste your entire life, all your resources on trying to zero it out and never do it. You will waste your time, you will waste your life, you will just waste everything. Harm reduction, trying to make it as easy as possible. The Kaiju's gonna rampage. That's one of the things that happens if you choose to live in this area. Let's just see if we can do harm reduction and lower the number of people that do get eaten when people get eaten. That's the way it works. I mean, when people look at the university in Apple Rock and, you know, a student, at least one student gets eaten in housing every single year. You know, they're just a roommate hears wet, sloppy noises from a bedroom, but they don't sound like happy, wet, sloppy noises. And yeah, something's finishing off the remains of the roommate that lived there. It's like one a year. People look upon that as, God, that's safe. Hokey smokes, that's better than where I live. So yeah, harm reduction, not harm removal. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, well, we already know how my ADHD works. So let me call up my Chrome here, and we have Ben B. Good to see you in the comments. Thumbs up. Jesse Koskinen. Greatly appreciated, and always good to see you in the comments too, my friend. Mikey Kane. Thumbs up. J-A-Y-Y. Greatly appreciated. We have Flora Mew. Always good to see you in the comments, my friend. Always good. Oddity. Thumbs up. And I don't know that I'm better. I'm just a lot of practice. I'm older. Ugh. Frostbite, thumbs up and thank you. Dope, greatly appreciated. Wasabi covered nuts. I wish I could eat peanuts again. We have Milan Pede, thumbs up, and Lucas, greatly appreciated. I get lost in Shelton. I don't know that I could ever play GeoGuessr successfully. And Shielderer, thumbs up and thank you very much. Blade, greatly appreciated. And Ice Damon, thumbs up and thank you. 14 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. It is greatly appreciated getting out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time, and if only in text. But that's more than I get otherwise. So thumbs up, thank you all. Well, hokey smokes, apparently today is a holiday, so there's not much I can actually do. The places that I would be calling are largely governmental type stuff, Veterans Administration and the like, so not much I can do that way. Gonna be kind of a lazy day for me. Hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done. That would be a very, very good thing. And of course, just with the covfefe bug still a-raging, please take care of yourself. Don't toss yourself on the corpse pile before you have to. We're all gonna die. You don't have to die early. And even if you don't die, you don't have to feel like you're going to. Ugh. So just be careful, take care, be cautious. So, until we meet again, You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and I, quite frankly, do think that that is a very good idea.